Younes, Ahmad, and the Sword of Light. It was a warm morning at school. Birds were chirping on the nearby trees. And the school bell rang as if calling the children to a new adventure. In the playground, the students were running and laughing, playing football and telling jokes. But Ahmed stood alone, holding his small backpack, his eyes quietly watching the others. Some boys began whispering and mocking him for no reason. They laughed, pointed at him, and threw hurtful words, simply because he was a little different from them. Ahmed didn't understand why. All he felt was a pain in his chest and a tear sliding down his cheek. He walked away to a corner behind a school tree and sat there with his head lowered. Younes, his older brother, had seen everything from afar. He came and sat beside him and softly asked,
"Ahmed, what happened?"
Ahmad didn't answer. He only pointed at the boys and said in a broken voice,
"They always make fun of me. I don't know why."
Younes placed his hand on his shoulder and said with calm confidence,
"Because they are weak, Ahmed."
Ahmed looked at him in surprise.
"Weak? But they are the ones laughing, and I am the one crying."
Younes smiled and said,
"A bully is like a balloon filled with air. He looks big from the outside, but he is empty inside. Whoever bullies others has a weak soul and a hollow heart, feeding on hurting people to hide his own fragility. You, on the other hand, are different, and being different is not a flaw. Sometimes it is a gift."
He paused, then continued with a deep voice,
"Even the messenger of Allah was mocked. They said he was a poet and a magician, even though he was the most truthful and noble of people. He did not get angry. He said, 'O Allah, forgive my people, for they do not know.' And Bilal ibn Rabah, may Allah be pleased with him, was a black slave in Makkah, mocked for his color and background, but he stood firm and said, 'Allah one,' until he became among the greatest companions." Strength, Ahmed, is in patience and steadfastness.
Ahmed lowered his head and said,
"But I feel weak. Their words hurt me."
Younes reached out his hand.
"Come, let me show you something."
Ahmed held his hand, and suddenly everything changed. The school light faded, and the ground turned into a gray forest. Strange sounds filled the air. The same hurtful words the children had thrown began coming out from between the trees as smoky monsters, with mouths full of laughter and mockery. The more Ahmed feared them, the bigger they grew and the closer they came. Ahmad screamed, but Younes said confidently,
"Do not fear, Ahmed. They feed on your fear and sadness. The more you let them hurt you, the stronger they become. Face them with faith, and they will shrink. Say with trust in Allah, Hasbi Allah wa ni'ma al-wakil, Allah is sufficient for me, and He is the best protector."
Ahmed repeated the words at first shakily, then with strength. Suddenly, a shining sword made of light appeared in his hand, glowing like a sun in his small fingers. He took a step forward, and the monsters backed away. Younes encouraged him.
This is how Bilal stood strong against Quraysh's mockery, and how the Prophet endured harm from the people. They knew Allah sees and knows all, and that the true victory is in the end, not the beginning.
Ahmed lifted the sword again and shouted from his heart, Hasbi Allah wa ni'ma al-wakil. The monsters vanished one by one, turning into dust in the wind. The color returned to the forest. And Ahmed and Younes were back in the schoolyard. Ahmed stood tall, his face glowing with peace. Younes smiled and said,
"Remember, Ahmed, we live in strange times, times where the honest are doubted, the trustworthy are betrayed, the foolish are praised, and the kind are mocked. But that never changes your truth. What matters is who you please in the end, not what people say. Bullying cannot hurt a strong heart, and mockery cannot reduce the worth of someone who knows his value with Allah. Mockery only exposes the weakness, ugliness, and darkness inside the bully."
Narrated Abu Huraira, may Allah be pleased with him, the Messenger of Allah, said, "The Muslim is the one from whose tongue and hand the Muslims are safe." Reported by al-Bukhari and Muslim.
عن أبي هريرة رضي الله عنه قال: قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم: المسلم من سلم المسلمون من لسانه ويده. رواه البخاري ومسلم.